South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Silkowski, Michael Emanuelian, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Brad Gilbert.
Good evening, South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. MD here. Hope everyone is having a lovely evening. It is Thursday. It is February 27th. Oh, we're out of February almost. And it is 7:02. We are here. We are live. Really exciting show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming demo day / Matchup Mayhem release. We have some equipment to talk about, and then we have a slew of guests coming through. We're going to have Philip Turturno, who designed and helped build the putting course at San Pedro, which obviously we know we're going to have early access to on Saturday, which is so exciting. Looking to have Danny Puckett and his buddy Bernie, who helped out with the documentary, joining us, and we'll talk to them a little bit. So we got lots of stuff to do. We got lots of stuff to do. But before we do that, I would be remiss if I didn't add these other two people to the screen with me, because I don't want to do this by myself. Welcome to the program, Brad Gilbert.
What's up, MD?
What is up, buddy boy? How you doing?
Doing good. Unfortunately, I can't stay on the whole podcast, but I am very excited to be here and be with you guys up until I can't anymore.
And guys, he just means this for tonight. He is not leaving.
Yes, for sure. Yeah,
for forever.
They actually tried to kick me off the podcast a couple of times, and I was like, nope, I'm here.
Yep. Turns out he was not the problem. It was me.
No, not at all. This is the funnest day of the week.
Funnest day of the week. Well, all right, man. Let's go ahead and bring in Travis Silkowski.
Woo! What's up, everybody? Yes, Brad is correct. He can't leave. Being an ambassador, one of the punishments is more ambassadorship.
Yeah.
Blood in, blood out, fam.
Yes, exactly. Right. What's up, Brad? What's up, MD?
What's up, Brad?
It is Thursday night, which is super weird. But here we are. It's Matchup Mayhem week. It is Callaway fitting demo day. It is putting course. I mean, what a cool. We've been saying it all the marketing says it, like the coolest non-golf event that we're going to put on. It might be the coolest event we do, period.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of a couple that are hard to outdo, but I gotta think, yeah, this might be it.
I'm really excited. I love showcasing San Pedro, and I feel like we've been at San Pedro for a month, and I love it. And I love highlighting the different components of San Pedro, and we're having a movie premiere there on Saturday evening. I mean that's so cool. If if you think about it, my first position with the trail in 2008 was at San Pedro Driving Range, and it was a shack. And to see where that has come from, and I'm sure there's people watching tonight that have seen San Pedro for years and years and years before I saw it ever for the first time. And to do the cool things that the trail has done with San Pedro, from the sporting lights and the renovation to the clubhouse to now the restaurant and Javi and Chef Roy and the addition of Ben and Joe Caruso.
Yeah.
And the simulator, and David Ogren has been through there before he opened his place. And I mean, we're going to have 100, 150 people at a movie premiere at San Pedro Driving Range on Saturday evening. And I just think that is the coolest thing.
That it is.
And speaking of cool, I was at San Pedro earlier today, getting some reps in, and they actually had the pins in the or the flags in the holes for the putting course. And that was pretty cool to see.
I'm so excited to talk to Phil. Philip Turturno is going to join us on the podcast in a couple minutes, probably about 30 minutes or so. MD will dial that up, and he'll keep us in the loop as to when we're going. But Phil Turturno is the designer, architect, inspiration behind the putting course at San Pedro. And we've seen some marketing, we've seen some promo about it, but I know nothing about how it came to be.
Yeah.
So excited to talk to Phil today about how the putting course happened at San Pedro, because I mean that synthetic putting green wasn't the best, and that area originally was designed as kart staging. That was kind of like a golf area in the original drawing.
Yeah.
I want to know how this happened. Who called who? And there's inspiration behind every hole there. And Phil is a super cool character, and I can't wait. It's going to be a really cool interview.
I mean, I remember when I found out about it. I found out about it maybe a month before they officially announced it. Greg Richter kind of gave me some heads up what was going on.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And I mean, what a cool use of space that was. I mean, I think when it comes to San Antonio, when it comes to, the golf availability, San Pedro doing the right thing to maximize space because there's no more space to get.
And I love pointing out things as operators too, right? That's a little bit of what we provide on this show, is a little bit of operations. How much revenue does the putting green make at every facility in the world? Zero. The answer is zero. And now there's a putting course. And let's take that step 1 second further. Who goes to a driving range to practice putting?
Yeah.
Well, listen, the elite amateurs on the screen are different, right? The first club everybody pulls out of their bag when they get to San Pedro's driver.
For sure.
And now there's a fun way to practice that as an operator, there's now a revenue stream coming in, and you're still practicing, and MD's right. That space was dead space. And quite honestly, it was nasty space. Between the ball machine and Ben's shop was, mulch, dirt, staging area, maybe like the Sudo cart path when the tee line was on mats or whatnot. But I'll tell you what, the space utilization is awesome. The design is awesome. And I'm super happy for Javi, the GM at San Pedro, because it is just the coolest use of space that drives revenue and now gives another outdoor food and beverage area, right? And it turns into a little bit of Topgolf, a bit of Pop Stroke with maybe some weight staff out there. I guess such a cool environment.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they run it. I mean, it looks amazing. It looks really fun, and I can't wait to play it on Saturday. But yeah, it'd be interesting.
I'm so excited. We have such a great ambassador team, and we have such great ambassador coverage throughout the whole event. And we're going to run that down from Callaway to the putting course to the simulator. We're going to run down all the day's activities leading up to Matchup Mayhem, the world premiere of an STX Am Tour documentary. I love the official title. I think it's so cool. We have such good ambassadors and such involved ambassadors that we're going to have coverage everywhere, and everybody's going to get a constant rotation on the putting course. So if you're watching tonight and you want to come out and you want to play the putting course with MD or with Brad or with Sean Vidal or with Sabrina will be there. I told Sabrina that she'll get the most requests if we put a poll on Facebook. But if you want to play around on the putting course, complimentary access from 1 to 5 all day, exclusive to the STX Am Tour players and family and friends, and it's going to be a cool time. And come hang out with MD. It's actually his 21st birthday.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So he can drink legally for the first time without an adult.
Yep.
But it's not his 21st birthday, but it is his birthday.
It is my birthday.
So that will be another highlight of Saturday. And I'm so excited. We have such a cool show tonight. And I just love talking about San Pedro. I feel like we could just talk San Pedro for hours. And I can't wait. One of these times we're going to get Javi Garcia, the GM at San Pedro. We're going to get him on the show with either Ben or Alex, and it's just going to be a really cool San Pedro feature show.
Yep, absolutely. So talking about kind of what's going to happen at Demo Day Matchup Mayhem. First things first, let's talk a little bit about the actual Demo Day itself. So we have all the slots filled for the actual fittings with Janine. Janine is our new Callaway rep. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to join us. She is in the midst of traveling right now, so couldn't hop on tonight. But we'll get to see her and get to hang out with her on Saturday, which will be cool. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the equipment lineup. There's going to be a lot of stuff there, a lot of things to test out, a lot of things to practice and play with.
Now, those are 30-minute fittings that were complimentary. The link was in the newsletter. Sign up, get a spot, right?
Yep.
Can they email in to be on a waiting list for that?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of it too is, these are dedicated slots. They're still going to have some availability and some space for walk-ups. You're not going to be able to necessarily go through it. That was
going to be my next question.
But you can certainly, to be honest, the driver fitting, stuff like that, try and take the full 30 minutes. It may not always take that long. So she may actually have a spot or two that she can and that's let
where
someone
you
get
can
in for
test your driver versus the new triple diamond.
Yep. So speaking of
which MD, there was an article today, right?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
I missed pre-show warm-ups. I'm so sorry, but that just tells you how in sync we are.
It was so couple of articles come out today, kind of the trendsetters, the who you go to find out what are the hot drivers of 2025 through years of data, rankings, all these different things. The Elite Triple Diamond ended up being the number one driver of 2025, leading in forgiveness off a triple diamond. That's
I know, I love it. That's so cool.
And that, and I completely see it. In the lineup, they've got 4 drivers out this year. It's gonna be the standard Elite, the Elite X, which is typically the draw bias edition model, Triple Diamond, which is number one driver of the year, slightly smaller head, but a absolute missile.
And we see the same Sub-Zero style weighting in the front and the back on the Triple Diamond, where it's a little bit more perimeter on the Elite and the Elite X.
And what's interesting too is those weights, they actually shifted and changed up the distribution of the actual weights that are coming in the Triple Diamond and in the Elites. So there was a little bit of change there. They went from 11 and 4, it was 12 and 4, excuse me. And they actually took out another bit of weight, so they made it a 3 and 13 on the weights for the Triple Diamond. And it actually feels, I think you can actually see a difference from that with putting more weight towards the back or towards the front, but the spin numbers certainly kind of showed
and I'm so glad they stuck with that. The ability to change that front and back on the triple diamond model. I do love it. I was having this conversation with Casey Graham the other day that Rogue, the first edition Rogue Sub-Zero, was just the lowest spinning sucker ever. And I feel like this Elite Triple Diamond feels like that club.
I think it feels better personally. I think it's got really good pop off the face, and I wish I had my my numbers saved so I could pop them up there, putting them side by side. But I mean, the distance in the change was there. I mean, I did find a little bit shorter total distance, but I picked up almost 8 yards on my carry.
So all four of these heads in interchangeable shafts will be available on Saturday for the fitting and the walk-up, MD?
Yes. All of these will be there with the different shafts. You know, I would recommend, again, you know, if you can get in, if you have a fitting set up, great. We'll be there so we can kind of help out, throw some shafts and stuff like that as needed. But yes, every head should be there. And that also goes for the lineup of hybrids, or excuse me, the lineup of 3-woods.
I got that Elite titanium on the far right side, and that thing is ridiculous.
I hit it. I loved it. I actually stuck it out and just stayed with the Elite. Personally, for me, I know I need more forgiveness, and I need a little bit more.
It's all about enhanced performance for my profile. Yeah.
Yeah, I needed consistent launch and a neutral flight, which I do feel like I found. The 7-wood is freaking phenomenal. And shout out to Ben. We put a new shaft in it, and I mean, perfect.
I actually kept my AI Smoke 7 wiggle after I flagged 4 at Shadow Creek with it. I couldn't.
Yeah, you also kept it out of spite too for
I know,
me,
right?
Just because it's
like MD hates it. I have to keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I shouldn't have hit the triple diamond. I should have known better. It's hubris. Also going to have the full lineup of irons. Sorry about the picture issue, but it is Elite, Elite X, Elite Max Fast, and High Loft. So a couple different profiles there if you're looking for a more forgiving set of clubs.
It's important to note at the Callaway fitting events, you can use your tour winnings. You can use your Alamo City Golf Trail gift cards towards any purchase at the Callaway Demo Day. So, save up those gift cards, and the time is now. And MD, are there any trade-in, trade-up programs right now?
Not right now. But that being said, there typically is a special that they'll do for us day of.
Gotta come to find out, right?
Gotta come to find out. But there's
that's great.
a lot of cool stuff this year, and I would also imagine, I hope, and I should have asked for this. I guess I will ask for this after the show. I'm interested to see if she's going to bring putters too. Obviously with the zero torque movement and the mid shaft kind of thing now. The AI1 milled and just standard AI1 putters.
I put with center shafted number 7 this year, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. It's like a second chipper for me.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it was. I watched him putt with it, and I'm like, oh no, he's actually putting okay right now. That's dangerous.
That is Callaway Demo Day, San Pedro Driving Range, this Saturday, March 1st. And that kicks off the day's activities, 1 to 5 p.m., right in the center of the driving range, on the tee line. I heard a rumor that all tour golfers that signed up for the fitting are going to go through their fitting with brand new range balls.
Ooh,
So there's a little extra sex factor.
that's nice.
A little extra sex appeal. That is brought to you by Javi Garcia and the San Pedro Golf Ops team.
And you come out, you get fitted on Saturday. You may may have your new toy ready to go for the next March event.
That is something to note too. That Callaway has great turn times. A lot of that inline equipment comes out of Dallas, so it gets here relatively quick.
And you get that probably just in time for the first tournament of March. We've got a bunch of open tournaments right now, Trav, right?
Yes. Yeah. Javi's watching. He just commented there. Sorry, it distracted me. Yes, we have 3 events open for registration. MD, way to work that in there. I get so starstruck about San Pedro. I just love it so much that I get a little sidetracked. Actually, that was one of the Facebook posts that I texted MD about. Hey, can you remember that we have an event next weekend? March 9th, Northern Hills individual stroke play. Registration will close Wednesday the 5th. Still room, not much room, but there's still room. We expect it to sell out right at registration deadline of next Wednesday. That is March 9th at Northern Hills. And then we have team event on the 23rd at Olmos Basin. That is open for registration. And then we have a big 3-week layoff, spring break, Easter, VTO layoff. And we come back with a brand new format in April 26th, April 27th, down at Riverside, 2-person, 2-day team event, alt shot and scramble. It's just fun. If you've been thinking about a tour event that you want to come try out and you've never played in a tour event, that is going to be a cool one to kick off. Double shotguns, shotgun on Saturday afternoon, shotgun Sunday morning, modified alt shot for 18 holes. See if you're still talking to each other, and then you got to come back and play scramble together the next morning. I mean, that's so cool.
Have we
Such
played
a cool format.
Have we played 18 holes of alt shot?
I believe there's been a handful of modified alt shots.
I don't think full 8.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
We've done full 18.
I think so. I think
we have
once or twice in the last 5 years or so. It's certainly not a staple. You always, again, as an operator, right? You roll through it, and 1 year you get that request and you kick it around, and the scheduling committee puts it on there, and then the next year you get the guy who's like, "Oh man, I paid full price for a tournament and only hit half the shots." And it's like, oh, and then that sticks for the scheduling committee that year, and then it falls off, And so 18 holes, modified alternate shot, Riverside on Saturday, followed by 18 holes, Riverside scramble. Go get it all back the next morning. So new format, really cool. I think it's some sort of custom double, triple points, some sort of something. Those 3 events available for registration, stxamtour.golf under the sign up tab, or the division schedules tab gets you to the same place.
Yep.
And before we know it, it's going to be bam, 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 and we're into that big layoff going into the team event. And that team event is going to sell out early.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's going to be shotgun Saturday, shotgun Sunday. So there's not going to be a big move from the waiting list in. So, man, we say it all the time and we joke about it. And it's so funny to get the email immediately after it sells out to add me to the waiting list. I mean, that's comical every time. But sign up for that one. That one is going to sell out early, especially with a big layoff leading up to that event. It's going to sell out early.
Yeah, we're about to hit that stride in the season where everything's just pow, 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 pow. And then before you know it, we are on Tour Travels, which has secured its 24th person.
Oh, yes. And that's why we haven't talked. That's why we haven't talked much about Tour Travels, is because Tour Travels 2025 is officially sold out. 100% sold out. You can still email us if you want to get on the waiting list. You never know what happens. But 24 players going on Tour Travels 2025. That's a tough one. Largest Tour Travels roster ever. Destination Kohler, Wisconsin. I can't wait. We've been going back and forth. We've been going back and forth a lot with Kohler. Jason and I have. We've traveled all over the country, and gone with customers and with guests, and we've gone places by ourselves. And with customers or not, Kohler is the cream of the crop. They are just amazing. Whether it is simple communication or booking spa appointments or a la carte rounds or rooming lists or welcome bags being shipped early and placed in rooms. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous how good they are at what they do. So if you ever get a shot to go on Tour Travels and it's to Kohler, jump on it. If you ever get a chance to go to Kohler, not on Tour Travels, jump on it. It's so good.
I think I'm obviously excited to go to Kohler. It's my favorite place on earth. I love it. But you and I talked about it the other day. You know what I'm most excited about, because I found that guy, and we get to take. We have some cool stuff to do with Tour Travels. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so.
It's from the PGA show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen, we're not going to tease it too much, but the welcome bags, the welcome gift bags for Tour Travels this year are ridiculously cool. We thought they were good last year, and they were good last year. They really were top notch last year, but this year yeah, that's right, Scotty Williams. The swag bag, the welcome bag. You walk into the hotel, and it's high fives around everywhere as you get off the shuttle bus from the airport or whatnot, and you get your backpack with your name on it and the logo, and that's so cool. But this year's next level.
It got super classy.
Uh-oh.
I'm so excited, and we'll tease it as we get a little closer. But it's ridiculously good.
Jeff Warren, as always, thank you for your commentary.
Yes, the Brokeback Mountain reels are just flying through the comment section right now.
But I mean, I just can't quit you.
I saw one with that scene, like when your buddy hits it OB off the first tee, uses his breakfast ball and hits it OB again. Yeah.
Yeah, we're mean. But guys, it is 7:30.
Woo! I don't know what that means.
Mr. Phil is in the background. In the back.
Phil Turturno.
And we're getting ready to bring him in.
That's awesome. That way Brad can interview him for the first 10 minutes before he leaves.
Yeah. I wish I could. Unfortunately, I got to take off though.
You said 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I didn't take into account the proper timing, but I haven't contributed much yet. But I did want to leave you guys with a joke of the day.
Okay, I love it.
So we're gonna have. I hate that I'm gonna miss our two or three guests, but Danny and Bernardo's gonna be on later, and if Bernardo Pegas does anything suspect, or if he does anything questionable on the podcast, you know what we need to call him? Bernardo Pegasus. Leave you guys with that.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. I hope Kaylin's watching.
Right.
Oh my God, that's not how it's used.
Not how.
You got it yet, MD?
I did. Did I ever tell you that my nickname in high school?
No.
It was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Shooting webs everywhere or what?
No, my uncle got murdered.
Oh, damn. Oh man. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoy
On that
the
note.
rest of the podcast.
Bradley Gilbert, everybody.
I got to take off. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, Brad.
Woo.
And that, everybody, is an example of you get what you pay for.
Wow. And wow. And everybody, please see the disclaimer at the beginning of the show, just in case it is there. Wow. It's good.
It's fun because no one sees it coming. All right. Well, let's go ahead and welcome Phil to the show. Let's get ready.
Hey, how are you?
What is going on, sir?
Not a whole lot. How are y'all doing tonight?
Hanging in there. You look cold.
Surviving.
Are you in the parking lot at San Pedro right now?
I am near the parking lot of San Pedro. The Wi-Fi there not exactly as reliable as we needed it, so I'm a little bit further down the road. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. The audio.
No. You look and sound great. Everybody that's just joining us. This is Phil Turturno. He is the brains, the architect, and the installer of the San Pedro putting course, which they are going to call the San Pedro Putting Club.
Correct.
That marketing
Which
just
is
got
awesome.
released by the trail. Pricing and policies and all that stuff yet to come. But we are here with Phil Turturno, and he's going to share with us how the putting course at San Pedro came to light. That's the story that I want to hear tonight.
Actually, I want to know, when you were going throughout your career, was the plan always to design golf courses and do kind of like stuff like this?
No.
How did you get to this?
That's a great question. In my previous life, I was in sales. I was in the mobile home business for almost 18 years. So I sold single wides, I sold double wides, mainly in Texas. Worked for some great people, worked for some really good companies, and something really sad happened and within my family, and it just kind of caused us to hit the reset button. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I was done working 60 hours a week, which was the MO in my previous life. I'd leave the house at 5:45 in the morning. I'd get there at 6:30 before, an hour and a half before we'd open. And I wouldn't get home till 6 or 7 o'clock. And I did that at least 4 days a week, oftentimes 5 days. And, it was not uncommon for us to work Saturdays. So I did that for almost 2 decades. And then it was like, listen, I need to zero in on my family and spend time with them. And so I told my company, I said, I'm leaving, selling all my company shares. You got 1 year to, train the replacement. I had a guy that I really thought was going to be great. And he ended up taking over for me a year later. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So we got in the car, we started taking some road trips, just me and my wife and my kids. And best way to describe it is we tried to just climb into a bubble and just kind of be the four of us for as long as we could. And we did some really special 3-week road trips, up to the Northeast, and we went to Colorado and a bunch of stuff. And when I came back, I live on 4 acres. We built our house on the front 2 acres, and the back 2 was just covered with cedar trees. I live in Bernie, Texas, which is, just north of San Antonio.
Love Bernie.
Yeah. And it really never even been up on the back 2 acres other than just kind of crawling around between all the, the undergrowth and the shrub. And I started with a manual pole saw and just started cutting trees down because I needed something to do and I needed to get my mind off of everything. And I did that for a few weeks, and I got up the hill a little bit because the back 2 acres is set up on a hill from my house. And I just had this idea. I went and grabbed my survey. I still had my survey from when we built the house. I guess that was, 4 years prior to this. And I rolled it out, sat down on my dining room table, never forget. And I drew 4 lines, east, west, west, east, east, west, west, east, just on the back 2 acres. And I drew some larger squares for putting greens and some smaller squares for tee boxes. And I went, this would be kind of cool if I had a little backyard golf course. So I ended up hiring a couple of guys to help me clear. And so we kind of kept clearing, finally got some electric or some motorized, chainsaws and stuff, and got rid of the manual pole saws. And And then I went on this incredible golf trip. I had started to get into golf architecture maybe a year prior. My best friend in the whole world, Mike Herman, got me into the Fried Egg, Andy Johnson on Twitter, No Laying Up, those guys, the Golfer's Journal, Tom Coyne, a bunch of just really cool golf architecture stuff. I just fell into it and couldn't get enough. And I got to go on a really special golf trip that summer. We went to Fisher's Island and a couple other really special places in New York. And immediately I was like, I want to play every Seth Rayner's CB McDonald course there is. And I went home, and so I kept clearing. And then all of a sudden I got to this spot on almost the very back of the 2 acres. There were these rocks. They were kind of all stacked up together. And I climbed up on them, and I turned around and looked back towards my house, and the house is below me, and we had cleared off this infinity edge. And I was like, man, I could build the third at Fisher's, which is called Plateau. It's got this wild infinity edge. The ocean's behind it, but you can't even see it. And the green's propped up. And as I was thinking that and going, oh my gosh, I mean, it was in the span of 5 seconds. I'm like just kind of looking to my right, and all of a sudden, right next to what would be the tee box for the third hole, where I found the infinity edge, there was this shelf rock, and it was in this perfect bowl. And I immediately thought of the 15th at Sleepy Hollow, which is the punch bowl right before the really famous 16th hole that's got the bunker that wraps around it with a thumbprint. And the 15th is a much lesser known golf hole. The 16th gets all the credit, but in golf, one of the best things for me about golf is the reveals. When you play a great golf course, there's usually a reveal somewhere where you crest a hill and you go, wow. At Augusta, it's Amen Corner. When you crest 11 and you see Amen Corner, there's just this incredible, right? Well, a lot of great calls. Sheep Ranch has, great reveals. All over Scotland, there's great reveals because of all the blind shots and all the, wild places they would build. National Golf League has an amazing reveal when you play the Sahara hole.
Just talking about Kohler, Wisconsin.
I was about to say the straights.
Number 3 on the straights course. Number 5 on the river course. When you get up there and you hit down, so I had.
Well,
I had high school photos taken there.
Part of the charm of playing Sleepy Hollow is that 16th hole you get introduced to right as you play the second. You see the green from the side while you're putting on the second, and you go, holy crap, that's it. And you look to the left and you see the Hudson, and you go, wait a minute, that's the 16th hole. I've got 14 more holes before I play this. And then after you play the 5th, you're right back to it. You see it again, and you're like, okay, I got 11 more or whatever, 6 more, whatever. I'm going to play. And then you see it again. But when you crest the 15th fairway of the punch bowl, which is an Alps punch bowl, most of the punch bowls have a blind feature where you can't really see the ball go into the punch bowl area. When you crest that blind spot, backdropped behind the incredible punch bowl is that 16th hole. But the best view of it is behind the punch bowl, because when you juxtapose that square green to the punch bowl, which is this massive bowl, it's just this incredible geometry, again, juxtaposed at different layers with the Hudson in the back. And so that little punch bowl with my shelf rock changed the course. So I went back to my survey, I erased the east-west lines. Now I had a south-north and a north-south, and it ended up being perfect because my downhill hole played into the wind, which is ideal, and my uphill hole played downwind into the prevailing south wind. So now I had 2 holes. Part of this road trip, my son and I got to play Sweetens Cove, which was really special. We had played the Old White at Greenbrier, making our way back down from New York. We went through West Virginia. We stopped there out of the blue. My bride's amazing. She lets me stop anywhere and play. So my son and I played Old White, his first Rainer.
That's a cool place.
Yeah, and then as we're leaving, like just going back to the road trip, I don't know where we were planning on stopping. I said, hey, there's this 9-hole course in Nowhereville, Tennessee called Sweetens Cove, and I keep reading about it. I want to go. And she's like, okay. So we called them, and they're like, yeah, we'll be closed by the time you get there, but just leave a 20 on the porch and play till dark. And so my son and I got to spend a really special evening together at Sweetens. And so I knew I wanted to have a double green. I knew my home course was going to play with a double green. So I just had to find that last double green location. It was easy to spot. And all of a sudden I had a 4-hole home course routing, 80 yards, 70 yards, 60 yards, 50 yards. I called up this golf course architect, this real young guy that I had met at the Masters just a few months prior in April. His name was Colton Craig out of Oklahoma City. And I said, hey man, I think I'm going to do something crazy and build a backyard golf course, but I don't know what I'm doing. Why don't you come down from Oklahoma and tell me if I'm crazy? And if not, help me with sight lines and, let's figure this out. And so he drove down, and I didn't know this at the time, but he didn't have any business. He was pretty young. And sure enough, what do you do when you don't have any business? You tell the kid, yeah, it's a great idea. Let's do it. And so he talked me into the last 20%. He helped me find a shaper, a guy named Brian Ross out of Austin. And then he called all the turf companies, and he found the company that, provided the most lifelike golf greens that you could hit shots into, because I did not want putting. I wanted to be able to putt, but I wanted to be able to hit shots. And so,
right. Yeah. And there's a difference, right?
Huge.
There's a big difference.
Huge. If your listeners go to Golf Galaxy or Dick's and they drop a ball at shoulder height, it's going to bounce 4 times, right? It's a real low profile turf, and it's concrete underneath it. And that's not what happens if you go to Brackenridge and you drop a ball at shoulder height. It bounces 1 time, and it only bounces 3 inches because it's bouncing into sand and dirt. So what we do is we use a sand-filled green. It's over 1 inch tall. It looks like shag carpet. When you see it unrolled, you'd never believe you'd ever be able to putt on it. But we fill it with so much sand, and then we roll it in a certain way, and we broom it a certain way where you can hit 150-yard shots into these greens and the ball stops. And so...
that's awesome. I mean, that's
so
phenomenal.
cool.
Okay, you're walking in your backyard, golf trips, signature holes. It comes together, and you just do it.
Yeah, it got really crazy really fast, and the company that I hired to come do the turf put together a team really fast. We found an Airbnb a few minutes away, and they stayed basically in my backyard for 10 hours a day for 8 days, installed 10,000 square feet of turf. And I was there. It was my backyard, and I hired some guys. And so we watched and jumped in and learned. And, the first 5 minutes I was on the call with the company to come do the turf, I told the guy, I'm starting a business. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm having so much fun designing my backyard course. I don't have a job. Why not just start doing this?
And there it is, right there. There it is. That's so cool. Oh my God, that's so cool.
And so since then, we've had some really fun projects. We've worked on, a 500-acre property on Ranger Creek in Bernie, the most beautiful property in Kendall County. Hills, plateaus, water, 365 days a year during the worst drought in 100 years. Like, just incredible. We built 3 amazing template style greens. We built a punch bowl, a redan, a reverse redan, and a plateau style green, benched up on these amazing hills with these.
How many square feet of turf grass have you laid in all your projects?
I don't know. I should look that up. That project on Ranger Creek was 35,000 square feet.
What's San Pedro?
11. So
okay.
3 times. And we did a project for Valero out on their Diamond K Ranch out in Sisterdale, an amazing 12-hole golf course, 4 massive target greens that are like legit 6,000-7,000 square feet, the same size that the PGA Tour plays on. 12 tee boxes with scorecards and a really cool routing. And then we built and kind of, I would say, I'm glad we talked about this, because really the birthplace of what we did at San Pedro may have started at the Valero Diamond K Ranch. They had this massive entertainment barn that serves as pool tables, but they do food and everything in there, and they wanted a putting green. And as we were starting the project, they said, we've decided we don't really want a putting green so much as we want a putting course. And I said, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. And I immediately got to work on just designing this 9-hole putting course layout for them, and it turned out incredible. The first hole, shocker, is a punch bowl, everybody's favorite. I've got a road hole template. I've got, it's just everything that I would want to build as a CB McDonald, Seth Rayner, Golden Age architecture disciple would want to build. But it was a much smaller space, and it's not, it's for like 2, 4, 6, 8 guys at a time. So a lot of the holes play back and forth.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
couldn't have a big group constantly going out there. And so but that was the first time we incorporated the white turf for bunkers. And it was the first time I'd ever designed a putting course. And so
That's awesome. That's
So cool.
a few months later, I took the same concept to a buddy's house, and we built another putting course with some bunker turf and did some more experimentation. And then maybe 6-8 months ago, I built an absolutely incredible project for a buddy of mine out where I live. We built a model or a replica of the Eden hole at Chicago Golf Club, which is,
Serious.
it's turned out so good. And we use white turf to do the 4 bunkers. And so the more I've kind of experimented with the white turf, the more I fall in love with it. As a golfer, when I started my turf business, I was like,
it
I'm never
certainly
doing
looks cool.
Yeah.
For everybody who's just tuning in, we are chatting with Phil Turturno, golf course architect, installer, putting course extraordinaire, backyard course extraordinaire. MD, I want to make sure we get that link to Phil's news article about building his backyard course. I want to make sure we post that on our Facebook page after this show, because that's a really cool read. And now Phil's going to tell us how the San Pedro putting course kind of materialized. MD, can we show the aerial video?
Yeah. And I can tell you, are you going to be there with us on Saturday?
I will. Yeah, oh yeah. I can't wait.
I got to introduce you to Kevin Keeney and his wife, because I told Kevin he's got the best wife in the world, because she saw that putting course and she said, we need to do something like that with the backyard, because they have a putting green back there, but they want to do something big with it. And so they might come find you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Listen, Phil's going to be there with us all day. I can't wait to mic up Phil and MD on the same camera and play together. I think it's going to be so cool. This is Phil Turturno, and we are talking the new San Pedro putting course, which the Alamo City Golf Trail is going to call the San Pedro Putting Club. It's officially going to open to the public in a week or so. They're still working out the final logistics. However, part of the Matchup Mayhem world premiere on March 1st, Phil has worked his butt off down the stretch, getting the putting course ready.
Unbelievable.
For exclusive access for the South Texas Amateur Golf Tour players, friends, and family. On Saturday, March 1st from 1 to 5. MD, play that aerial video. And then, Phil, I want to hear all about this. How did this come about? Who called who and who did what? I mean, look at this thing at San Pedro Driving Range. I mean, it is 18 holes, entrance and exit on the other side of
that looks fake. Like it looks animated or something. Like it looks like too real. If that makes sense.
I've played 5 holes, maybe, Phil, over here. I've played these holes.
We played those front couple holes there.
Yeah, you played 1 through 4, and then you played 17 and 18.
Okay.
So that was a quick shot, and we're going to show tons more videos. Here it is one more time. Phil, talk us through it a little bit. Who called who had this idea?
Well,
and then walk us through designing it a little bit.
So I got to give another shout out to my oldest friend in the world, Mike Herman. But he called me one day where we were talking about greens one day, and he goes, "You ought to call San Pedro and talk to them about taking out their real grass greens and putting in your turf greens, because they're the turf greens are so good and it's so easy to maintain versus real grass greens." And so a year prior or so, I put in a green for Thomas Aguion, who obviously works
board member Thomas Aguion with the Alamo City Golf Trail Municipal Golf Association of San Antonio. Thomas Aguion, yeah.
Exactly. And so I called Thomas and said, "Hey man, why don't you have me put a proposal together to replace your grass greens with turf greens?" And he said, "Maybe, but what about maybe a putting course or a putting green?" Now, he didn't say putting green. "What about replacing our putting green?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'll come by there and look at it." So I went by there, and it was just basically a flat artificial turf, kind of like what you'd see at Golf Galaxy, real low profile.
Had been outside for years now. I mean, listen, it's 2025. San Pedro opened in 2017, so that synthetic turf grass was 8 years old already.
It was less than that because they tore it up. I remember they pulled it up at one point. It was maybe only 3 years old. It just 3 or 4 years old, but it just gets used so much and gets torn through, and it's also just it's not where it's. I mean, yeah, being outside that long either way.
I mean, they basically laid the turf down at a single grade one direction. So every putt was breaking the same direction, and which is, that's fine just for a putting green. But so I went out there and I had an idea as we were talking. I said, why don't you use this other area that's just dirt underneath these oak trees and we could do something a little bit larger. And so about the third conversation, he said, yeah, we want to do that. So I should have included
right there. That picture right there is so cool. It just really shows all of that waste. That space was nothing. That space
it's crazy
was
to think. It's crazy to think
dirt.
that there was just that much space that was just dirt.
11,000 square feet, Phil, you said?
11,000, yeah, on both sides when you add the two sides together. So
what is the stemp now? What's the green speed on that baby?
9.5.
9.5.
Like
9.5. Yeah. So
cool.
I basically told them I'll do a 9-hole design for you guys. And this was funny. I was just talking to this with my wife today at dinner. And because I'd looked back through the contract today and it said 9-hole putting course. And I hadn't realized that it was a 9-hole putting course supposed to be, or remembered that until today. But one Sunday morning, several weeks ago, before we got started, I still had not completed the routing and I was stuck and I didn't know how to get, all the holes in. And I woke up one Sunday morning super early and I said, I got to figure this out. And I sat down on the couch, and the way I do my design, as silly and as archaic as this is I literally get out my iPhone, I go to the photo or the drone shot, and I use the little art app to mark it up. And
For sure. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And so I just do this routing. I should have included those pictures. It took me about an hour, 2 hours, and I wasn't planning on doing it Saturday night. I had no plan Sunday morning. I just sat down, looked at the drone shot, took the first 4 holes that I already kind of knew where they were going to be, and from the sky walked through holes 5 through 16. And I mean, and immediately I texted my foreman and I said, I'm going to San Pedro to paint it out. And I had no plans to do that day, but I rushed to San Pedro with my paint and then just went to town. I put earbuds in. It may have been Avett Brothers. I don't remember who I was listening to, but I put music in and I painted it out and it worked. Like, it just all kind of laid out. And I had all my favorites. I had plateau holes. I had redans. I had a road hole. I had a hole that I was going to call St. Andrews and do the hell bunker.
That is close to where I met Phil. When I walked into San Pedro, the first time I saw it was just crushed granite and paint. So that had to be real close to where I saw it for the first time.
Probably so. And I'll tell you, this is maybe the wildest thing about this whole thing is that my good friend Andrew Peterson and Thomas Agyan allowed me to build this 8. And again, I got to step back. It was a 9-hole course until that Sunday where I woke up and drew out 18 holes. And from that moment, it was 18. And I never even thought about it being 9. I had forgotten about the contract that said it was 9. I had found 18 holes and that's what we were going to build. But one of the wildest thing is that they let me build this with no plans, literally from the ground up as we went. I mean, I had a overall layout. I knew what the holes were going to be called. I had a general idea of how the water was going to go. But, when you're not building from plans, things change every single day. I mean, they change every single turn.
When you're the only person with the plan in your head, right?
How do they know what my mind's eye sees? I mean, I see something very different than what they. Well, they've been building greens for me for 6 years. I've got an incredible team. They've stuck with me, And I can tell them do a punch bowl feature. Boom, they'll build it. I can say build a Redan elbow. They'll build it. They know what
I want you to know I saw that. I was at San Pedro. I've been at San Pedro a half a dozen to 10 times throughout the match play tournament and leading up to Matchup Mayhem, and whether or not it was my business going to just bend for golf clubs or whatever and whatnot. Every time I was there, Phil, your guys were in it 100%. And I think the first time I met Phil, the second time I met Phil, when the first time there was turf grass there, Phil was by himself. There was nobody around him. He was on his hands and knees with a scissors, just clipping carpet strands, one by one. Phil Turturno.
That's detail.
I mean, and I saw that from the first moment that there was 100% give a shit in every square inch of that putting course at San Pedro. It was, so we've got a little bit of your background. We got a little bit of how it happened and how it came to be. Tell us a little bit. We only have a couple more minutes left.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about the maintenance. If somebody wanted to do this in their backyard, the cost per square foot is X, and then the ongoing maintenance is Y.
Gotcha. So I'm going to say that quickly, but I want to get back to something. So $20 to $25 a square foot gets you the best artificial turf sand-filled green in the world. $20 to $25 a square foot. We try to convince people of 1,000 square feet if the budget allows for it. This way you can have 600 square foot of putting surface, 400 square foot of fringe, and that includes everything you would need to be able to hit shots into it where it lands and holds like a real deal. But I got plenty of business. I want to talk about real quick this putting course. Real quick, give me 2 more minutes, all right?
Yeah, heck yeah.
This is not putt-putt. This is not putt-putt. This is a putting course, and I want to explain the difference because I really believe in this. If you go to Bandon Dunes, right outside Pacific, there's a place called the Punch Bowl, and it's 50,000 square feet, and it's wild. It's like the Himalayas at the old course, and there's bartenders, and there's 18 holes they set up, and every day they can set it up in different order, and you have some of the most stupid, crazy putts you're ever going to have, and sometimes you put it into a group of 8 other guys that are drinking and laughing at you, and now you've got to putt back into your group, and it's just the best time ever. And to me, that is a putting course. The difference primarily is putt is like bowling with bumpers.
Yep.
Everything collects back, and if you've grown up playing putt like we all have, you hit a wall, it bounces back. Even those places called pop stroke, everything collects back to the middle.
Yeah, it gets back to the hole, right?
That's putt. So that's one thing that's putt. Another thing that's putt that all of us don't like as golfers is when you grew up playing putt, there was this little placemat at the beginning where you put your ball and you tee off of the placemat and it jumps off the placemat and automatically you have this terrible roll. Well, no golfer wants to start their putt with a terrible roll. So that was always a non-starter for me as a kid growing up, wanting to play golf, thinking I was a golfer. What's the third thing that sucks about putt? You can't take your putter. Listen, if you take your putter to a putt place, you're a putz. Putt.
I certainly have done that. I've done it 100%.
I have too, but it's kind of like taking your clubs to pop stroke, man. You're supposed to just be chilling out and having fun. But a putting club where there's a putting course, you take your putter. You don't want to rent that rubber mallet putter. You don't want to hit a range ball. You take your Pro Vs.
It simulates the real thing.
Exactly.
It's not the clown's mouth. It's the real thing.
Exactly. And when you play the San Pedro Putting Club, you're not hitting off of a placemat. We have these 2 little strips of fringe. It looks like a tee box. And the course is routed, in my opinion, so well. You're going to be playing the 3rd hole and you're right next to a guy finishing. You're going to be playing the 4th hole and you're playing next to the guy on the 17. When you're playing 7, you're watching the guy on 15. When you're playing 6, you're watching guys hit over the ramp, over the road hole shed, trying to make it into a hole-in-one on the road hole. So it's really routed like all the old courses, small ballpark, intimate. You're constantly going back to really cool focal points.
It looks super cool at night too.
Yeah.
If you go out there right now, I just sent y'all some pictures with lights. If there's any way to throw those up, I sent it about an hour ago, but just 2 photos I just took with lights. It's
MD will get it. He's hosting and producing. He'll get it uploaded there before we go.
So one last thing on putt versus putting course, and I'll shut up. When you go play a great golf course and you play great holes on a great golf course, there is this massive range. You can get a really low score or you can get a really high score. There's a margin for error. There's a risk reward. Think 13 at Augusta National, right? So many guys make eagle, so many guys make double. Think 12 at Augusta. Only 145 yards, but you can make double. And so some of the holes out here, not all of them, but there's about 4 holes at the San Pedro Putting Club where you will make as many double bogeys as you make hole-in-ones. And to me,
it's great.
I
played just a couple of the holes, and I made an ace on hole number 3, and I made a 6 on hole number 3. I think that's so fun.
Last thing, I know I told you last thing. I have one more thing, and then I promise. The last thing is the way, in my opinion, and San Pedro obviously will figure this out, but what I'm really pushing for is a Stableford scoring, because putt is always about making it. Nobody's trying to make a 2. And there's not enough difference between a par 1 and a par 2 and a par 3 like you would typically have at a putt because you're all trying to make it, and there's no layups. So instead of having this ridiculous concept of a par, because everybody wants to make a hole-in-one, we should do Stableford scoring. 5 points for a hole-in-one, 3 points for a 2, nothing for a 3-putt. Because obviously no one ever wants to get rewarded for 3 putts, but it'll make match play a lot of fun with it. It'll keep 6s and 7s off the hole because you might be out of it, kind of move on, kind of a thing. But
yeah, keep pace of play moving too, because I have a feeling this is going to get busy on a Saturday night.
It's going to get busy every night.
Woo! I think
that's pretty awesome.
I think it's fantastic, and I bet you we see the STX Am Tour committee incorporate the putting club into the San Pedro match play tournament in 2026. I'd have to think that that's going to be there.
Why couldn't we parlay it with a Gator National Golf Club, which is my home golf course, open to the public 365 days a year? It's literally open for dads to bring their kids. That's why I built it, but anybody can come. I've had the first tee come out. I've had several high schools and middle schools come out. Every shot you want inside 85 yards, you can hit at my place. Tough Bermuda in the middle that I cut with a real mower. We need to have a short game tournament with your league out in my backyard course. They'll have so much fun. They'll love it.
I think it's great. Everybody, this is Phil Turturno. Check out in Links, the Best of Golf Links magazine. There is an awesome article on backyard golf courses and Phil Turturno's backyard. Phil, thank you for joining us tonight. The San Pedro Putting Club architect, designer, maintenancer, all of the above. He's going to be there on Saturday, March 1st with us from 1 to 5. When are you going to make your highlight appearance? The whole time?
I mean, I want to be there the whole time. We're going to be there early with a group of guys to get it tuned up, to get all the leaves blown off, make sure everything looks super fantastic. I'd love to give a 5-minute kind of explanation on the holes so that people kind of understand how to play the holes.
Yes, we will do a video walkthrough. Yeah, we'll do hole by hole for sure. Oh, I love it. MD and Phil playing the first round on camera with play-by-play tutorials from golf course architect Phil.
We could do that.
I love it. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. MD, anything before we let Phil get back to his Thursday evening?
No, man. Appreciate what you've done out there for San Pedro. That course looks sick. Got to play a couple holes on it. It's fun as hell.
I have a feeling this is not going to be the last time we see Phil on the podcast.
I'm not going to lie. I saw when they were calling it San Pedro Putt Club, and the first thing I thought was, I want that hat. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know I want whatever hat they make for it.
I didn't even tell you about the scorecard. We got a kids scorecard with activities inside the front and second page where they can, I got a bunch of bunkers that are shaped like animals. And then you turn the scorecard over and there's a place for them to design their own golf hole and name the hole. And I'm hoping San Pedro will do like a, drawing every week, pick the best design and do some kind of, giveaway. But I'm super interested in making golf really fun for kids, but I want them to learn architecture too. And I want them to learn design because every kid loves to draw. Every kid that golfs has designed a hole on a napkin somewhere. And,
I used to draw on the cafeteria tables.
There you go.
I did it during a meeting today.
There you go. I'll give you one more that this will change everybody's life that's listening. The next time you eat potato chips, find golf greens in the potato chips. I find some of my best designs in Lay's potato chips.
I don't need another excuse for chips, but hell yeah.
I'm telling you, it'll be a good
exercise. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil Turturno, come hang out with Phil and MD and myself March 1st with all of the rest of the ambassadors and Javi Garcia and the team at San Pedro as we lead up to the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem 2.0 and STX Am Tour documentary. Phil, thank you for joining us tonight. I can't wait to hang out with you on Saturday. Thank you so much for what you've done at San Pedro. San Pedro keeps getting better. Shout out to Alamo City Golf Trail, Andrew Peterson, for always pushing the needle into something new.
Thank you, Andrew, very much for giving me the opportunity, trusting me with this project. I'm forever grateful. I told him the other day it was life-giving. That's all there is to it. But thank you, guys. Appreciate the opportunity. Jesus saves. Have a great night.
Appreciate you, man.
See you
Have a
Saturday,
good night.
everybody. Thank you. Phil Turturno, everybody. What can we see that aerial video one more time, MD? I just think we were just talking with Phil Turturno, golf course architect of the San Pedro Putting Club, brand new 18-hole putting course, San Pedro Driving Range in Par 3, Alamo City Golf Trail, officially going to open to the public in a week or so. Wow, it's just so cool. STX Am Tour exclusive access on the brand new San Pedro Putting Club putting course. March 1st, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Come hang out with us. MD and Phil are going to play right at 1 o'clock, and we're going to film it, and we're going to get some tutorial play-by-play how to play the hole because every hole breaks. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, it's so cool.
And I was just thinking about it as we're watching the drone fly over. I could just bring my drone, and how sick would that look in the afternoon doing a flyover with the course completely filled with.
I think that would be so cool. And I just, the Facebook Lives with the drone following, and it's just going to be a really cool, fun day.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much fun we're going to have between the putting course and the simulator and the Callaway fitting and demo day. 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. is going to be so cool. And then at 5 p.m., the lights kind of go down and the sun's starting to set. And we're switching gears a little bit to the
putting on a collared shirt.
To the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem 2.0. And I'd love to think that Danny Puckett is backstage right now, and you're just going to segue him in as we speak. You there? Good?
Yeah. No, something happened in my headphones. That was pretty bad.
So 1 to 5, Callaway demo day, putting course, simulator, hang out with ambassadors. It's MD's birthday. It's just going to be a fun day at San Pedro, and it all is crescendoing to sunset and the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem 2.0. And MD, we have Danny with us.
We have both Danny and Bernie. We're gonna bring them on right now from Global Fairway Logistics. Danny Puckett and Mr. Bernardo Pegas.
Woo! What's up, guys? Everybody just joining us. This is Danny Puckett and Bernardo Pegas with Global Fairway Logistics. I always want to say Fairway first. I just want to get to the golf, right? with Global Fairway Logistics, the brains and technology and the skill behind Matchup Mayhem
Travis,
2.0.
is someone watching on their phone?
Mm-mm.
No? I'm getting feedback.
I have headphones.
Okay.
Nope, not me.
Sorry.
I'm getting no echo. Is it okay?
It's got to be me.
I'm getting a little bit too.
Oh, it might be Bernardo.
Should I
I feel
change
like the
yours?
last time I was on the call, I gave feedback. Let me close some stuff.
I think it was you last time.
Right?
I think you had to switch to headphones.
Damn it. Let me see what I got.
Was it still going? Because I muted mine.
Yeah, it was still going. It's Danny.
It's Danny for sure.
Come on, man.
Bernardo, great job. Great job, everybody. This is Bernardo.
You can tell
and
who's
Danny
in charge of
Puckett.
audio
They're
for
the
you
brains
guys.
behind Matchup Mayhem 2.0.
Yeah,
And,
little.
I'm
You
sorry.
guys see it? Sneak peek.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so that's what we want to see, right? We want to get a little bit of the behind the scenes, where we are. Tell us a little bit how it's coming together. Listen, full transparency on the Power Hour podcast tonight. That film is not in final cut stage, and it's getting close, and it will be ready to go at 7 p.m. on Saturday, March 1st. But Bernardo and Danny are here to give us a little bit of insight as to how that's coming, what it looks like, and maybe Danny told us today that Bernardo was going to have another trailer for us to tease. Maybe.
Sorry, I didn't hear about that.
Okay. So Bernardo, fill us in just a little bit. Where we at?
Sure.
It's Thursday night. It's almost March 1st, world premiere day. Where are you guys at? Walk us through the process for y'all.
Yeah, I mean the cut's pretty much done. We just kind of double check things now, making sure names are spelled correctly, scores are right, and that we don't have any weird thing happening audio wise or with the visuals. But it's there, and it's cool. It's been a really cool experience, and yet very familiar with all of everybody's swings now. I've been watching it over and over.
Right? Who has the sexiest swing on the South Texas match play?
Sexiest.
The best looking golf swing.
It has to be between Jaramillo and Steven Evans, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
They look pretty
Who
athletic.
has the most unique golf swing?
Unique.
Probably harder.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
I like it. Oh, Danny Puckett has joined us now with no echo.
Good. Cool. Right.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Confirmed.
That's great. I
It
hope
was
everybody's still watching. That is good to go. I know there were a couple comments about echoes there, but it looks like we've got it fixed. That's awesome audio, video on the fly there. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got sexiest swing, Jaramillo and Steven Evans. If anybody wants to comment on that in the comments, we'd love to hear what you have to say. And then the most unique is Jonathan Harder. That's great. Who?
Can I pick a Houston player?
Yes. Yeah.
Was it Saeed, I think was his name?
Yeah.
Pretty unique swing.
Absolutely a unique golf swing for sure. Do we get to see some Houston players in the film this year?
Yeah. We show quite a few. They hit a lot of good shots. Yeah.
We were.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, I mean, it's common knowledge. It's out there. The leaderboard is out there. It's so difficult to talk about in the interviews. You know, at the end of the day, when you look back at it, it was so much fun. But like the last sentence is like, oh shit, we lost, right? And it's so, I'm so excited to see that captured on film. At so different than the high fives of winning, right? And I'm so excited to see that. Danny, how was that for you 2 years in a row, seeing a win versus seeing maybe something that didn't go the way we thought it was going to, or the way we wanted to, for sure?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was interesting because last year it was like it was just banger after banger, and I was like, there's no way we lose this. Like it's just not
Right,
gonna happen.
20-foot breaking putt after 50
Yeah.
foot bomb after chip
And
in
just
after 5
yeah,
and 4 win.
yeah, greens inside 15 feet, like lots of birdie looks. So like, and the course was great, the visuals, as far as there's lots of trees, and so that was super cool. I think for my first, event to film, for the match play event, I think it was great. And then going into this year, it felt like it for me, especially, just filming, it felt like we're at home track. It's Riverside. Our guys know this place.
We
Like,
played there a ton that year,
there's
right?
Played there a lot.
so many of our guys have gone really low. We have so many good players on the team. The handicaps kind of scared me a little bit, but I was like, yeah, there's no chance we're gonna win this. And I wasn't really out in the field shooting a lot at first, right? So I was kind of back at home base, and then as we went out to film more, and actually I think one of the first shots that I filmed was MD, and he hit it to like 6 inches or something. It like jumped over the hole and like just was like chasing around the hole, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna do it again, like no big deal. And then like as time goes on, I start filming some other stuff. I'm like, that's a tough break, like damn. And then I start seeing Houston make some putts and get, I wouldn't say lucky, but they're hitting some good shots, and also some
The bounces were going their way, and they kind of weren't going our way on Sunday
Yeah.
mid morning, right?
Yeah. And the difference between a fairway and a rough or even a fairway over shot isn't huge at Riverside, so you see kind of a lot of recoveries, so it's like, okay, we both hit the fairway on our team, and then you watch them, it's a pretty stray shot, but a recovery that's close enough for an up and down is an up and down with a stroke, and you're like, damn, that changes really quick.
Right? You went from like a surefire win to like oh crap, I have to make an 8-footer to tie now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then all of a sudden, your 20-foot birdie putt is nothing, compared to this pretty much given up and down with a stroke. So, shooting it, I had a lot of other things to focus on too, so it was kind of back and forth. There's definitely, feeling it in there. I know a lot of the players now, so seeing that stuff happen kind of was a bummer. But honestly, once we got into looking at footage and editing, we captured a lot of like moments, and so as a filmmaker and a creator, it kind of creates, I don't want to say drama, but it gives a story, like last year it was all the way up the whole way. And then, this year there's ups and downs, we see really good shots, and there's still those high fives. There's still those really good moments, and the team.
And we were doing math all down Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon, like, okay, we need A, B, and C to go our way. And then some of the dominoes like fell our way, and it was like, and
Yeah.
then it was just
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it was a lot of we'll be fine, and then not so much. But as far as the storytelling, for the sake of the documentary, I think it's good. Like I think it's humbling, right, for everyone to fail here and there, and then to capture it and to talk about it and to have humility. I think it's good for the film. It would have been great to win, of course, but we got to win last year, and we were able to capture that. So I think from a creator standpoint, we got the yin and the yang. So, next year, I think it's going to be a win, but I think it gives us some drama, right? And now going into next year, we can say we lost last year. So
there's certainly some pressure on the traveling tour team this year, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Bernardo, being, I'm going to say, second in command of Matchup Mayhem for the first time, right? What's been your favorite part of the production process? You got to sit down and do an interview one-on-one with Andrew Peterson, CEO of the Trail, kind of in Ben's shop after hours. So there's been some behind-the-scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of time spent with the players at Riverside, and then the editing, putting it all together. Kind of tell us what's
what's been your favorite part, and what caught you off guard as something that's cool that you didn't think was going to be maybe as special as it was?
Yeah, I think my favorite part is working with golf, I would say, because, filmmaking is my career, but I never was able to put my filmmaking passion with my golf passion together. So that's been pretty cool. And also the creative freedom, right, that you guys gave to us and Danny gave it to me, to be able to take it any kind of way that we want, and make it different and
Art,
cool.
it's art
And
to you guys, right? And it's when
Yeah.
you want to view it as that such. Yeah, heck yeah.
so, yeah, being able to put, my little touch there, like the most projects that I work on a daily basis, it's very structured, and you have to do this, and this, and sometimes you don't have much room for creativity. And I feel like we were able to play around with creative things in this project. So that's been very satisfying. And I think what caught me off guard is like how much footage we got. Like that was a lot of footage. It took, I think, a good month to just go over everything and organize it. And
That's so cool.
so, I mean, a lot of good stuff, a lot of in between stuff, and a lot of bad stuff. So, I mean, you just got to organize it, right, and make it.
There's a comment. There's a comment from Brad in there. Brad says it was so cool having the camera guys on the course during the match play event, and we actually took it one step further. And Bernardo just made an awesome comment about, if this sounds cool, let's go try it, right? And we actually mic'd up Brad Gilbert during tournament play for a couple holes. And he definitely commented on that to me, how cool of an experience.
Yeah, he's mentioned that multiple times.
Yeah,
he
for
loved
sure.
it.
And I just think that
Yeah,
this is cool. Let's go get this attitude that you guys brought was just so cool the whole
and
time.
I feel like it was a turning point on his match, because I think he was down 2, and then he filmed when we put the mic on him, and he won like 2 holes in a row. And
I mean, I told.
All right, there we go. Everybody mic'd
kept-
up 100% of the time in Houston in 2025. Bernardo Paga's got it right here.
I kept calling to Danny. I'm like, every time you put a camera on me, I've hit a good shot. I'm like, Brad and I both were like, camera on us? Yes. All the time. Thank you.
I made sure I was clapping with good posture when the camera was on me, right? No slouching on camera. I agree, right?
Yeah.
I think that the atmosphere of the camera guys made it so much more elite, right? Like it just changed it. I agree, Brad.
I think the camera's on. I mean, it's like doing it in the horse race, right? Like you got 3 or 4 cameras on you live, and you're out there playing. It's the same kind of similar kind of feel, but yeah, I think the camera's on you. You know that you're doing something stupid is getting documented. So be a little bit more on it.
Yep. Yeah, and with having Brad mic'd up, he was speaking out loud, and I think he even said, sometimes I'm just thinking these things, and and with his caddy, so he was kind of speaking it out loud, so I think there's a little bit of that too, is let's hit a good golf shot, and that goes into play, right? You convince yourself, hey, I'm gonna hit a good one, and you say it out loud, and it could come to fruition a little easier.
I used to say that, and I still do it to myself a lot, like the power of positivity, the power of positive thought. Like MD makes fun of me when I line up a putt and I say, you are a good putter.
Well, you know me, I am the exact opposite. I thrive off of the anger.
Yeah, which can also work. Yeah, it depends if you're, your personality, right? It's like if you fight or flight, it's like, but yeah, speaking it, putting it out there can put you in a different position for sure.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah. Danny Puckett, tell us your highlights. What's one thing that stuck out this year that you're going to remember forever on this project?
Yeah, I mean, for me in general, it was just like, having sponsors that help us have budget to bring on a crew, is huge. Last year was sort of a proof of concept, type of thing, and Micah was nice enough to take a chance and bring us out there and you know, we could capture and kind of show what we could do with just two of us. So you know, having Ben and having Micah both come back to help bring on a team, you know, to be able to bring on, you know, somebody like Bernie and, you know, his use his talents, and he's also passionate about golf. So I was like, this is perfect.
And that is Riverside on his computer screen behind him right there.
Yep.
There.
Yeah. But that's the water on hole.
Oh, look at that guy.
Oh boy.
Oh.
That is live from the driving range. Team session on the back of the driving range session.
Yeah. There's
Shawnee Vidal. Oh man.
Yeah.
I got chills just thinking about it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got distracted there.
You're good. I already forgot what we were talking about.
I don't remember either.
Oh, my highlights.
Oh
Yeah. No, for me it was just, you know, it was having the crew.
Micah?
Yeah, we had 6 cameras out there. You know, I was able to bring on, you know, pro guys to come shoot video. That allowed me and Bernie to kind of concentrate on, you know, strategizing, you know, where we put cameras and, you know, kind of formulating it. And we learned a lot. And so I think just kind of that next step in the process of bringing on more cameras, you know, capturing those things, and then being able to take a little bit of a backseat to direct from afar. Like Bernie said, you know, kind of give him some creative freedom and do something a little bit different from exactly the way I would, you know, do things. So I think it's cool to kind of branch into that, collaborate, and just kind of take it to the next level, and you know, continue to kind of move it forward. I think that's kind of that would be my highlight for sure. Would just be growing what this has been and what it is now. So
sweet.
I think-
MD, you're up. I
mean,
50 more questions that I could rattle off right now.
I mean, I don't necessarily have questions, but I think about, like, for the players, you know, one, we had the opportunity to obviously do a highlight reel, which mine we have posted and stuff like that. Mine's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then you have, you know, the documentaries and stuff like that. And I think about it from that perspective of, in 30, 40 years, I can watch these again, right? Like I'm going to look back and be like, God damn it, I was so good looking, or damn it, where'd my golf game
go? I remember
go?
watching MD's highlight reel the first time, and I like cheered. Like he hit a good shot. I went, woo! Yeah.
Like, but I think it's just such a cool gift, in a sense, that you know, you guys are able to kind of give to the players, in that sense of, like, this is stuff we get to look back on. Like, I get to show my daughter this someday and be like, you know, your dad didn't suck at golf completely. And
okay,
that
great
stuff.
Question. That's a great question. For the first time this year, the players were also able to kind of contribute as player sponsors and get a highlight reel back of their 2024 South Texas Match Play Challenge experience. Bernardo, who has your favorite highlight reel? Which one is the one that is the coolest?
MD for sure.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, that's good. Now, Danny Puckett, same question, and you can't say MD.
Well, there's still a couple to go. I would say David Thomas has a pretty good one. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are
I
we
like
going to
this.
get to show the general public and the team at the premiere the highlight reels after the feature film?
Yeah, that's the plan. The last ones on the list that will come last, that may or may not, depending on how many all-nighters I pull. There's only 2 days.
Yeah, just 2.
Yeah,
2 to go.
Travis, unfortunately, you are one of the last ones.
That's okay. That's what I would choose, right?
Yeah. No, the players I definitely want to put first and foremost. So you and Jason are last on the list. And then honestly, it's Rick Hoynesy, just because I've reached out numerous times and we haven't settled up on his contributions. I know he's good for it, so I plan to edit his. But so you guys are the last two that I can feel even remotely okay about showing up without having. But the others, I'm gonna make it happen.
We definitely went highlight reel for Jason Bird, assistant captain, and myself, captain. We went captain's highlight reels, so we could contribute and be part of the filming process. So who claps better on camera? We shall see.
Travis, were you mic'd up for the entire event like last year?
I was mic'd up for most of the day on Sunday, and I was jumping back and forth between the film crews, who were super fun to work with, by the way. After they got to know me a little bit, I got to jump on the headsets a little bit and play around, and I love being mic'd up. I love being on camera. I love being able to provide commentary in real time, whether it's for a player's perspective as a captain, or there as support, or in a camera guy's ear saying, "This is the second shot. We're down one. It's crunch time." That's super fun for me. I was mic'd up most of the time at High Meadow Ranch in 2023. Danny got to listen to my.
That's what I was trying to think. I was going to ask Danny. I was like, was it harder to get through Travis's stuff this year, or was it worse last year?
No, Danny told me, full transparency on the Power Hour podcast, Danny told me he used AI to separate the cool parts out from the gibberish,
which is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I needed a little more control. I learned a lot about Travis through that audio, though.
Last year. You learn a lot into his mental world and how he thinks, and you're like, we need to delete all of this.
Yeah.
Yes,
this ever got out.
But there's one thing that I do well, and it's bring the same energy level from the minute we get into the parking lot to the minute we leave. So that's one thing that I really try to instill to the ambassadors is bring it every second. Jason Bird, bring it every second. MD flicks the switch on the podcast every week, and he brings it. You should have seen him get out of the vehicle today. He drove 500 miles today, spent 9 hours in a conference room, and hopped on the podcast with us. And it was like a light switch. It's bam, here's MD bringing it. And that's one thing that I really like about being mic'd up in that scenario is I can really share that energy level with Danny and Bernardo and the camera guys who are there long hours, and in Danny's case, all-nighters. And I'm sure Bernardo's case, all-nighters the last couple weeks getting this final cut ready. But yeah, that's what I can provide. I can't go out there and hit golf shots, but I can bring 100% energy from the second I arrive to the second I leave.
Yeah.
And you always do.
Great. Yeah. And it's infectious, like you said, I think, people pick up on it. And
yeah, heck yeah. Bernardo and Danny, final thoughts before we wrap up for the night. March 1st is right around the corner. 7 p.m. will be the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem Volume 2, an STX Am Tour documentary. We're here with Bernardo Pegas, Danny Puckett, the brains and the skill and the talent behind the feature film. Bernardo, Danny, your final thoughts going into your last 48 hours before we click play for the world.
I'm just excited for everybody to see it, honestly, and you guys are hyping it up really well, so I love it. Like, my work never felt so important. So
yeah,
yep.
I'm excited.
I hope nothing weird happens audio-wise, visual-wise over there. Hope everything works. Technology sometimes can be a weird thing, but those are my thoughts right now.
Like we've got a good plan, and then we have a backup, and then we have a backup to the backup. So I think we're prepared. I think we're going to show this film to 100 people plus. Really get to showcase the uniqueness of San Pedro, whether it's driving range, par 3 course, the new putting club, or a world premiere of a feature documentary. San Pedro can do it all and serve you liquor and good food at the same time. Danny Puckett, final thoughts as we go into the home stretch of Matchup Mayhem.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I mean, I would say I'm excited. I would say shout out to Bernardo for his hard work and his creativity. I'm honored to have you on the team, dude. You're doing great, and yeah, I'm ready to show this thing and get it going and
Heck
start moving on.
A big South Texas newsletter will come out tomorrow, and tomorrow's newsletter will have the full rundown of the programming for the presentation format leading up to Matchup Mayhem. Lots of guest speakers, partner presentations. The Cake Place and more will be there. Cairo Services will be there. San Pedro Club Repair Studio will be there. Ruben Caraveo from the Trail is going to talk. Jason Sandoval, Trail board member, is going to talk. And then it'll all culminate at 6:50 with birthday boy Mike Dermanuelian taking the stage with Danny Puckett and leading us home to clicking play on Matchup Mayhem Volume 2 at 7 p.m. just after the sun sets, March 1st at San Pedro. I can't wait. It's right around the corner. It's Thursday at 8:30. In 48 hours, we will be high-fiving that Matchup Mayhem 2.0 just concluded, and it was the coolest thing we've ever seen.
You guys have 47 hours.
Woo! Danny Puckett and Bernardo Pegas, everybody. Guys, thank you for joining us so much. We'll let you get back to it. I know Bernardo is just going to turn in the chair, go right back to editing. And Danny's, I'm sure, in an office around the corner doing the exact same thing. Guys, thank you for taking some time out of your night to hang out with me and MD on the Power Hour podcast. And you guys will both be there. Danny will be there most of the day on Saturday, and Bernardo will be there, of course, as we roll up to sound checks and video checks. So anybody that wants to hang out with these guys and ask them questions, you will have full access to them on March 1st as well. Global Fairway Logistics, a golf videography company and a social media company. I mean, who doesn't want a highlight reel of themselves? And Danny Puckett can get that done for you, for sure.
Damn straight.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Danny Puckett, Bernardo Pegas, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Night, guys.
Woo, good night. Thank you. MD,
All
a big, long, cool show. Phil Turturno, San Pedro putting course, Danny Puckett, Bernardo Pegas, of course, Matchup Mayhem, Volume 2.0. An STX Am Tour documentary set to premiere in just under 48 hours. I mean, listen, saying that live on the air to them a second ago had to be like, well, clock's ticking. MD, what else do we got to talk about before we can click play on that trailer and take us home?
That is all we got to talk about. Sign up. We have open events. Make sure to sign up for those. Matchup Mayhem, Demo Day, MD's 21st birthday, closer to the pin, longest drive competition,
everybody,
all sorts of stuff on Saturday.
Open to the public. Come on out, hang out with us. VIP seating opens at 5:30 p.m. for Matchup Mayhem, the world premiere of a STX Am Tour documentary. Ambassadors will be there all day. As MD said, it is his birthday. We don't know how old he is, but he'll be there all day celebrating. Putting course, exclusive access, 1 to 5. Callaway demo day, fitting event, 1 to 5. Closest to the pin on the simulator, 1 to 5. Food and beverage specials all day, all culminating towards the world premiere of Matchup Mayhem. The presentations and the speakers are going to start at 5:45. Full schedule in the STX weekly newsletter coming out tomorrow. MD, take us away.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Thank you to our guests for joining us. Really cool stories, really cool insights. We'll get to see more of those guys. We'll get to see the ambassadors. We'll get to see the team members, family, friends, all that good stuff on Saturday night at the.
Can't wait.
Guys, look for some more posts about it. We'll have the link for Phil posted as well. But guys, everyone have a good night, and we will see you Saturday.
See you Saturday, everybody. Thanks for watching.
This is probably the biggest golf event that I've ever partaked in. I've been around golf my entire life, and this is probably the most fun that I've ever had in my life playing golf.
I just kind of told myself, just go out there, play your game. I want to come in and be better than I was last year. Whatever happens, happens. I love playing with these guys. I've met a lot of new friends. It's just kind of wild.
You know what? I got to be honest. This morning when I left in my uniform, my wife was waiting for me to say goodbye, and I got a little emotional. I worked really hard to make this team and to actually now have it be the day, and all the emotions kind of hit me as getting ready to walk out the door.
So they say the pressure is a privilege. All this is a privilege, right? You worked so hard to do this. So you gotta just play golf. Take breaths, have fun, enjoy the moment.
There we go.
Started playing on this tour since maybe 2017. It's been a long way coming for me because it's my first time making the team.
Match play is just such a fun format, and you don't get that throughout the year.
I love match play. I love playing against head to head with people. So this event is definitely my favorite one.
Riverside is the first course that I played on back in 1973 or 74.
Probably the best I've seen those greens in 40 years.
I'm happy with the design. I hope it plays as hard as it can play, to be honest.
Course is in great shape. Lots of grass everywhere. You get in trouble, you're in trouble. It's good stuff.
We play all year long for moments like this. There's still a lot to play, but every point matters right now.